I am doing a live, so we are doing tarot today, not tea leaf on the live. Um, and I'm just gonna wait to see if anybody gets on here. We'll see. Maybe nobody will come on here. Maybe nobody will come on here. I don't know. Oh, hi, there's some people. Hello. I'm folding laundry while it's waiting. Good morning. Good morning, Leslie. I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a pretty good day. Yeah. Thank you. The weather here is crazy. But other than that, everything is pretty good. How are you doing? Do you have any questions for Spirit, for the tarot? Hi. Hi, Andrea. Leslie, playing the lottery. Uh, we can look at the tarot. Let's go ahead. Let's see. Is there a lottery win? So we have the Eight of Swords, which leads me to, yeah, and then, okay, so we have the Five also of Cups. And yeah, I mean, I don't see it happening this time. But part of it is that almost kind of, I don't know if you've changed your numbers recently or like, I don't know, it's almost kind of like you're second guessing your numbers. So maybe that's part of it because we do have that energy of interference and disappointment. So that's, I mean, I feel like it's something, not just like the numbers didn't hit, but kind of the process of obtaining your tickets and numbers. I think that's more where there's interference. Hi, Michelle. Hello. Okay, Atomic Fae. That's a good question. What does your future self want you to focus on in the next 7 days? All right, so we're going to do, yeah, let's do tarot. We'll do tarot. Or do you want to do oracle? Maybe we'll do both. We'll do both. We're going to do the Thoth deck and the deck of the Radiant Sun. So we have the Five of Swords. It feels like there's been some kind of failure or perceived failure. Something. It feels like something that you didn't think was going to go wrong, or like almost like you've been just trying to maintain something enough so it doesn't fully fall apart. Now we also have the Three of Wands, and we have, yeah, the Three of Swords. So I feel like this is kind of it's like a hard decision. Like, do you put in the long work? Do you put in the deeper effort? Or, like, it's kind of like if you have like some appliance or something, and it keeps breaking down, and you're going to go in there and, fix the parts that you can afford over and over again. Or are you going to have to, like, really, get that money together and buy the whole new thing, so you're not, slowly kind of bleeding out over time. I don't know that this is about an appliance, but I do feel like there's like a big, like, either way doesn't feel like the best, but like the decision has to be made. And I think that's the big focus. And life is going to align in a way where it will force you to make a decision. And with the Three of Swords, it feels like there's, I mean, there is like a, well, the sorrow, of course, but a lamenting maybe of the time spent of, um, I mean, it sucks when our stuff doesn't work out, right? So, I think that decision needs to be made this week. I think that's going to be in your best interest. It's not going to feel the best right now, but also with that Three of Wands, it tells me that there's that fire. The fire's there. Um, it's not gone out. It's just a matter of getting the elements of your life kind of in the right configuration, so that energy can really, like, that airiness can get into that fire and really get the thing going. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Let's see. Lynn, here from South Africa. I will find my soulmate. Will I find my soulmate? I'm sorry. My cat is meowing. I think I'm going to, just 1 second. TT, Mama, what is you doing, kid? Come on. Come on. Let's go. I'm on live stream. Little girl. Come on, little girl. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Let's see. We were looking at Lynn. Okay. Hi there. I'm from South Africa. Will I find my soulmate, and will I have abundance and a job going forward? Okay, let's see. We're going to see. Whew, I don't want to fall here. I might fall, you guys. Okay. Soulmate. Where are you, soulmate? So we have the Seven of Discs. It says failure, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to find your soulmate, okay? What it feels like is stuff in your life is not aligned in such a way that you are ready to really, like, receive the soulmate. And I know that sounds like such a cop-out of an answer, but I feel like so often we want for, like, this connection. We want to, weave ourselves into somebody, or them into us, and, have that union, but we don't always do the work in our life. And I don't mean like self-help books, or like getting, super hot and you're gonna, like, find like the best mate ever. That's not what I mean. I mean, we don't necessarily make room in our lives for the stuff that we want to bring into our lives. And I know this because I'm really, well, I have a master's degree in not preparing for the magic that I'm doing, right? So I feel like there maybe needs to be kind of an emphasis on really taking inventory of your life. And I mean practical things. We're talking about the earth here, okay? Earth element. Like, do you have enough room in your house? Are you really willing to, and I'm not saying they're going to move in necessarily, but I mean, these are the things we got to think about. We want somebody to be our partner, to be our soulmate, but then we don't think about, like, do I want to share a bathroom with somebody? You know, do I have enough room in this home? Will this, person assimilate into my family? These kinds of things. And these are really important foundational things that we got to look at. And so I feel like so often when we're looking for the beloved, or a soulmate, or at least somebody to walk beside while we do the work, we're living up here, right? And that's love. We all kind of do that. But down here, this stuff has to get worked out as well. So even though it says we have, the 7 of discs, and this is not, the most auspicious symbol, I feel like there's a lot of hope here. It's just about making sure that you're ready to receive. The other thing about this card, and the first thought I kind of had, was almost like, it could be that the person's already in your life. You're just not in alignment to see that this is your person. It could be a friend, it could be somebody that you work with, or whatever, and you just haven't had that moment where you see them in a different light, but don't give up on that. Don't, definitely, keep preparing yourself. And I know I keep saying that, but it's like, it's so real. It is, I think that it's very common for us to encounter people who are our soulmates, and we're just not in the right place in life. And then let's see, job, abundance in a job. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have the 3 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, 10 of Wands. What is kind of going on here? And then the 7 of Discs again. So I feel, well, it's financial work stuff as well, probably. I think that has to do with the soulmate. I think a lot of it is getting your sectors in order. And, I say that with all the love in my heart, because this is something that I feel very akin to. I don't necessarily like to dwell in the Malkuth and work on the finances and the house and and my job. Although my job right now is amazing, I've had all kinds of really sketchy and weird jobs, or terrible jobs. So I get it, but at the same time, it is all about preparation. When we look at things like ceremonial magic, for instance, you see there's a huge process to preparing and executing a ritual. And that doesn't change in the real world or the greater world. We have to be prepared. We have to get ourselves into that place. We have to, get everything organized. And sometimes that means that we have to dwell in the waking world maybe more than we want to. But it has to happen or the work can't be done. Okay, let's see. Now we're gonna go down. Can we see my cat? No. I'm sorry. I would love to bring her in. She used to be in my readings. Um, but she will knock stuff over. And it gives me anxiety and then I don't know. I will post more videos of her though. She used to be like the best hanging out on camera, but now she knows that like I don't know. She knows that I'm not going to stop doing my readings, so it's like full chaos. Okay, let's see. Can I get a personal reading for the near future? Andrea Williams. Okay. Andrea Williams. Where are you? Let's see. I feel like for some reason, as I'm like looking for that energy, there's like a real sense of yearning for the sun. Okay, so we have the Six of Discs. So I feel like literally in the physical world, there seems to be this like urge to be in the sun. Now we have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, and we have the Art card. Yeah. Okay, Andrea. You are coming to the end of a series of ordeals. I don't think they were huge, like monumental things, but I feel like it's been one just, one terrible inconvenience after another. Things dropping, losing stuff, people canceling, going to somewhere on the wrong day or, stuff like this. And I feel like for you, this has been kind of a little bit of like okay, stop. We got to wake up here, right? I'm like walking through life half asleep. And so I feel like there's this sense of, and I just want to be clear here. Yeah. Okay. So we have the Nine of Wands here. And I feel almost kind of like there was a reemergence of somebody from an old part of your life. And I think that you put some real energy and hope into that. And I think in this next period of time, it's like something kind of breaks open between the two of you. And I feel like it's like you get to speak to somebody as you are remembered, as you see yourself for the first time in a long time. There's a real sense of being seen. There's a real sense of being supported. There's a real sense of, I can do this. I can do this now. Where maybe I've wavered a little bit. Maybe I think I've gotten a little clumsy or messy or forgetful or I'm too tired or, all these things. That's not going to linger for very long. And I'm not saying that there's a person, but I don't think that like you're drawing your strength from them by any means. But I think it's like, it really is this refreshing it's kind of jarred you from where you were. Okay. And so the Art card, yeah, I feel like this is deep, right? So with this renewed kind of, openness, I feel like are going to begin like this new process here in the next while. Okay. I don't know, maybe into the new year, but I do feel like things are aligning. They're aligning for you. And the biggest part of it, it's like, it's not confidence. I don't know what the word really is. I think it's just like belief in self, probably. Um, but I see you getting into, it's a new path, but like it's also something that you've either wanted to do for a long time or you used to do, and now you're coming back to it. Okay. If that's, does that make sense? I don't know if that's helpful. Okay, good. I'm glad it makes sense. This Leo loves the sun. Yeah. Yeah, I just like when I was looking for you, I just got this feeling of like stepping into the sun where it's on your face a little bit and just feeling like you can just close your eyes and breathe. Like I haven't been able to breathe. Now I can breathe. Hi, RID. Messages from Spirit. Yeah, let's get into Spirit. Do you have a question or do you want like general messages? I kind of set this up so I can kind of stand a little bit too, but I think maybe this is too, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Where are we going to go? I know I do. I am talking to myself. No, I'm talking to Spirit. I'm talking to whatever it is that lets me in. Okay. Okay, so we start with the Four of Swords. There's ease in the heart. There's ease in the heart. That's maybe the best news I've had all day. Let's see. Okay, so we have the Ten of Discs. And that makes sense. We have the Seven of Cups. And we have the Princess of Swords. So I feel like this is almost kind of a, like a preemptive celebration. Like we just started something and it started working. It's doing well. I have to, just 1 second, you guys. This cat. Come here. Come here. Come on. Don't. Come on. Is Pudgy in your bed? Come on. You can be here for a minute. Let's go say hello. You want to say hi to these people? Say hello. There's TT, the meower. Okay. So it's almost kind of like things are going well, things are working out, but we're celebrating too soon. Okay. We get into that Seven of Cups energy, things start to get a little sketchy, right? Like it's like you go out for the weekend and you're having fun and you're buying stuff for people and this and that, and all of that wealth that we built up is slipping through our fingers. Okay, but I don't necessarily think that this is about actual money. I almost feel like this is about almost like our intellectual, emotional resources. I feel like there's been some reason to come into a place of settling down. It's like when you have a test. Oh, now you want to go? All right, bye. I love you. It's like when you have a test, right? And you're going to do it. You know it's all going to go so easily because things always come easily. And then you get in there and, you're not prepared. You're not prepared. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You have this Princess of Swords energy, which is really like, it is a juvenile energy where it's like we need to believe in ourselves, right? But sometimes we can believe in ourselves so much that we're believing our own BS, basically. And so I feel like this is it's a good energy around, but it's really about tempering your choices, your feelings, your emotions. We have the Prince of Cups here. So I do think that it's a lot of this is about your emotional, but it's like, I keep thinking it's like words. It's almost kind of like, it kind of feels almost like saying I love you to somebody too early. You know what I mean? Where it shouldn't be a problem because love is love. But if you've ever met somebody and been the person that you've dated for a couple of weeks and then they tell you that they love you and you are like, okay, that's a lot. That's kind of it's a similar energy. It's just like too soon. So I think it's really like a pump your brakes, let things go a little bit slower, let it unfurl, enjoy, let things be as they are. But I think it really is about not indulging too much. That's not super fun. That's not a fun general reading, but we'll do another one before I leave. The build of energy, Michelle. We'll look and see. I think a lot, though, is we've had a lot of solar activity. That's a big thing. But today, we go into the new moon. We're also in high Saturn land, right? We're like in the valley of Saturn right now. So my morning prayer was about the dark or hidden mother, right? Which is the new moon. She is quiet. She is silent. She moves in stealth. She's the moon that people are afraid to hunt beneath, but it's the best hunt because nothing is seen. Now, she comes into the same room, right? If you could think of it like that, as the old father. The old father is Saturn or Kronos, time. You could think of him as like an open, arid landscape that's glacial, like a tundra. He's slow moving. He's the preserver of life. If you could think of something being frozen, right? It's not dead necessarily, but it is in a state of animation, right? So when these two energies come together, it is quiet. It is a sense of I cannot move or I should not move. I don't want the floorboards to creak. I don't want to wake up that beast or whatever it is. We don't know what it is. We don't know because we're in the darkness of night now, the long night. The solstice is what, 3 or 4 days from now? 3 days, I think. So we are in a place where energetically it's building. It's building within us. Have you ever, like, on a day where you couldn't move around, like you were traveling, you're sitting on a train for 6 hours or something, and your body, you have all this energy, but your body starts to hurt because you're not moving. This cat. So I feel like that's kind of a lot of where this, in my opinion, in my silly magical opinion, I'm just gonna leave it cracked for you. You can come and go. But don't jump on me, please. So I think that's about, where this energy is. I think collectively. Now we'll look at it closer, Michelle. Okay, so we have the Princess of Cups. Okay, Princess of Cups. We have the Lust card or the Strength card. Hello, my love. And the Princess of Wands. Hi. Ooh, and then we have the Magician. Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of very like new and potent energy. We have with the Princess of Cups that really watery, can almost sometimes be like a hurricane type of deal. Not necessarily like a tsunami, but definitely shifting currents and ones that are really strong. Now, we also have the Princess of Wands. So, of course, the fires are burning. They're burning. Now, are they out of control? Not necessarily, but they need to be watched, right? They need to be channeled into things. Now, we also have, again, the Strength or Lust card, Babylon. Yeah, and the emotional with that passion meeting with the Lust card, I would say there's a lot. There's a lot of this. And then we have the Magician, and this dude's like, okay, we have all of this raw, potent energy. We have the ability to harness it. And so, what are we going to do? So, I feel like, Michelle, this could be personal. This could be the collective. Hopefully, it's the collective, but I don't know. Seeing the Magician, I imagine this is more about you. So, really, what I think is that this is really a good time to be beginning a project, finishing a project, doing things that are very kind of emotional but sensory, right? So you're eliciting impressions, sensations, that kind of thing. Like dancing, right? Dancing, swimming, flying. Don't you dare. Okay. I thought you were going to scratch me, girl. Okay, let's see. So I think, yeah, this is most excellent. I'm jealous that this wasn't for me. Cindy, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's see. How is the energy different for us in the Southern Hemisphere? Summer solstice versus winter solstice. Let's see. Let's see. Thank you. I would love to pick your brain. Seemingly reactivating Claire's. Well, thank you. You can pick my brain all you want. I can't promise you're going to find anything that is of substance. Maybe. I don't know. Hi, Kathleen. Okay, let's see. We're going back. We're going to see what's different for energy in the Southern Hemisphere. I think of, I mean, I don't know. I've never been to the Southern Hemisphere, if I'm being quite honest, so I don't know. But I know that in high summer, where I'm at, it's quite humid. So it's almost kind of like the same energy as the winter because you are in this extreme weather. Um, and it does bring out that almost kind of hermit and very like primal. Hi. Hi, babe.
Hey, everybody.
Here comes Paul. If you guys know my husband from Dove and Serpent Tarot, he's gonna make me cover the camera. No, I will though. I'm gonna not force him on here. All right, there you go.
Sorry to interrupt everybody here.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I am in a common space in the house here. So let's see. The thing is, I feel like it's similar energy, honestly. It just looks different. You know what I mean? Oh, and I didn't realize there was more stuff coming in. Thank you. Paul says hi. I guess you guys heard him, obviously. Okay, let's see. What's the energy of the Southern Hemisphere? What do we got going on here? Ooh, well, and look, there we go. There's the energy, right? You have the Persephone risen, where in the north it's definitely subterranean, Ereshkigal, Persephone energy. In the south, definitely, into that like Persephone, she's in the gardens, things are in bloom, everything is kind of very overtly alive. Empress. Now, we have the Tower. Let's see. We have the Six of Swords and we have the Five of Swords. So, it almost kind of, I mean, this is, I want to see. I'm going to clarify here. What are we talking about? Okay, so very swords, Nine of Swords as well. To me, it's like really reiterating that there's a lot of, like things are not in alignment. Things are feeling chaotic. They're feeling, you know, like a war of ideas of, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's social. Maybe it's within smaller community. But it feels like it's almost kind of, you know, it's taken up a place where it wants to be in the forefront, and it kind of affects everything else. And the Tower card standing next to the Empress is wild energy. And we have the Hermit. So I get a sense of feeling like you have to get away from the greater whole, right? Like if you lived in the city, there's this real urge to go where nobody is, to go to the wilderness. So I feel like there's this almost kind of, it feels like fear, but it also feels like the instinct kicks in, and where you have fear, you know, like I have to move away from this. You feel like this is something that could be problematic. This is something that could be dangerous. This is something that does not, you know, it's not of service to my larger plan in life. And so I have to say, I feel a sense of separation. And that's the big thing, is a separateness. A sense of like vivisection, like the cutting away, the cutting apart of. And it feels brutal, but it feels like not necessarily in your control. Let's see if we can do one more clarifier. So then we end with the Four of Swords. So interestingly, it feels like a flare up. It does come into a stillness though. But that's don't be fooled by that, because the Four of Swords doesn't mean this thing's over. It just means that something else has come into view, right? Something else has taken the priority, or this is where our gaze has gone, right? So hopefully this will be a lasting ease or the beginning of some kind of ease, but it doesn't, it's not a promise. Okay. Don't fight me. She said, no, I don't like that reading. Let's see. Riley, can anyone relate? Can anyone relate? I don't know. I don't always relate. Sometimes I do. That does make sense to me. It's humid and stormy here. I've felt agitated. Everything feels chaotic. I have felt like a hermit. Thank you. I'm a strong empath and really intuitive, and kind of need a little bit of help to understand what gift I have. Heard God through inner right ear only, masculine side. Okay. See my other message, please. Okay, I'm going to go back up. Oh, I didn't see there was more. Hello. What's me, please? I've been looking for answers to why and what and how. 13th May, 2025. God made himself known to me and simply told me I'm an angel, and he gives me a gift of a halo. Gave me vision of a portal or tunnel of light and darkness. Okay. So I feel like these are common, not to be dismissive, but these are common symbols that we see in the magical work, most definitely. Is there a particular question? Let's see. I know the thing about a question, like the thing about trying to figure out why you are having or what kind of experience you've had, is that these things are super subjective, first of all. But like nobody can be an authority of what you've experienced, is I guess what I'm saying. Like if I told you some of my religious or spiritual or occult experiences, they might sound cool or neat or whatever, but the only thing that matters is what not what I experienced as far as narratively or with who, but the honey of the thing, right? The thing that is in the subtle. So how did it make you feel? What has transpired in your psyche since this, experience? How has your life changed? These are all things that outweigh all of the details. The details are important. Write them down. Keep note of them. But also try not to categorize them. Unless you're going back and doing kind of archaeological, histories and that kind of thing, of yourself, like the histories of yourself. But as it's happening, I would say, just remember how you're feeling. That's the biggest thing. Remember how you're feeling. Remember what it looked like, what you smelled, what the colors were. And if you can kind of really like save that to your memory, it's almost like you will start to have these different alignments that you might start to perceive and know that, okay, now I'm coming into a space where I'm in more of a direct contact with the divine. We see this a lot with like when people are saying, oh, I'm having a lot of synchronicity lately, a lot of coincidences. I feel very interconnected with the universe and stuff. These are similar kinds of things, right? This is similar kind of feeling. So for me, I would say unless it is something that has been detrimental to how you're living, um, and if that's the case, which it can be, listen, I'm not embarrassed to say I've had very very close to psychotic experiences in magic, or doing magic and pushing myself to limits that probably I shouldn't have. I came into a realm of, having like a mental health crisis more than once, basically. And so if it starts to feel detrimental, then please do not try to dwell in it. Please go and talk to your trusted people. And I don't want to be dismissive and say this is like a mental health thing. It's probably, I don't know. But I always have to say, make sure that if it's feeling a little bit more than, you know, the universe communing with you, then yeah, we need support. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you the best of them, even like if you've read anything about Jung, right? Carl Jung, who is not necessarily like an occultist or whatever, but he was gang, right? He was definitely an occultist. When he was doing the work that was in the Red Book, he said himself that he had lost himself into moments of like psychosis and, breaking down barriers of his like societal conditioning and behaving in ways that he almost felt was like, primitive, animalistic, back to that very source of man. And so even those that we elevate and we lift up and we say, oh, this is like the dude, a lot of these people have had very trying experiences. Another one I think of immediately is like Philip K. Dick, the science fiction writer, right? He had a bunch of mystical experiences that were very destabilizing for him in the last part of his life. And so it can happen to any of us. So we must be vigilant. And that's where I'm coming from. And that's all I have to say about that. Have the fun, right? God talks to me too. Yeah, you can't break an omelet without breaking, or you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. True that. Just, be careful. Gently, yeah. How he got laid off, he's devastated. Will he recover? I'm unemployed now to advice. Okay, Tracy, I'll look at the cards. That kind of situation that you're in, I know it's not, nothing that I can say in this moment, right, is going to be like the thing that makes it feel better. But just remember yourself and know that you and your husband, you've survived and you'll continue to survive. You are, you've moved through this world as you have, and now you're at this point where You know, it feels hard, difficult. Like there's maybe nowhere to turn, but you will. You will figure it out. It will figure you out. But that being said, let's see what the cards say. The money stuff is always very scary. Jobs, money, all of that. Okay. So we have the Four of Cups, which is the luxury card. Yeah. And then we have the Hanged Man. Okay. So immediately, as we all have probably been doing with the way the economy is, scaling back on things. That's the big thing. Not saying you are living in the lap of luxury, but, I think this will be a time where, it's going to be a little lean. But again, okay, and then we have the Seven of Wands. But again, it's the Hanged Man, so it's giving you the choice. It's not the Death card. It's not the Tower card. It's the card saying that this is a space for you to start making the decisions that are going to help get you to where you want to go. So we have the Seven of Wands. We have the Four of Wands. Oh, I'm sorry. And then we have the Ace of Wands. So we have all this energy and passion, wanting. But it could be volatile is the thing. Okay, so we have the Strength card. Yeah, this makes me, oh, and more wands. We have the Knight of Wands, and then the last card we'll pull, the Five of Cups. Not the last card, I'm going to see. Okay, so the work. Okay, so I feel like you both have, I don't know if you're like skilled in it's like a particular skill or, I don't know, something like welding, or you're like amazing seamstress or something like this. But there's also love and passion there. I feel like you have both been kind of operating out of the things that you thought you were going to do with your life or wanted to, the things that you have been passionate about, and life has taken you in different directions. So, you're working at jobs to pay the bills, which, listen, that's like 95% of the world, right? So in this time where this thing has happened, and when there is a sense of crisis, I feel like it's like your refuge is going to be in doing what you're good at and not questioning so much if this is going to work for us. I mean, of course you have to be realistic, right? But it's almost kind of like you need to pull that skill out and start making it make money for you. And that's really like and then we have the Chariot. Like the Five of Cups to me really is almost kind of like, it feels like it's going on and on and on, and you're trying to get it to work, but you're passionate and you're getting these little like incremental traction going forward. Honey, that's too loud. Sorry, hang on a second, you guys. Babe, that's way too loud. Okay. And also, please don't cuss on the stream. Okay, here we go. So I feel like the disappointment is less in like this thing's not going to work, more in the how long it's going to be taking. It's going to feel like it's taking too long. But with the Chariot, I feel like if the work is being put in, and if you stay the course, this thing is going to open up a lot of doors for you. Okay. So I hope that's helpful, Tracy. And also, I don't know what it is, but there's like something about like little blue flowers. It almost like feels like it's like a like on a dress or something. I almost feel like you have like a grandmother that is reminding you. I feel like you must have grown up staying with her or something, because it's like a gentle impression where it's like very motherly. I feel like you felt very safe with this person, but reminding you that you worry a lot. Don't get in your own way. Okay? Don't get in your own way. The cat backyard. I'm not going to read what you said, but same, dude. Sometimes that happens, right? You have to be really careful. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it does. I feel like this is, and it sucks when it happens like this, but like sometimes, what is necessity is the mother of invention or whatever. In this case, I feel like this situation is going to be the thing that kind of like brings you back into that place. And that as a person that like, my husband and I do the YouTubes and stuff, and read tarot and we do divination stuff or whatever. It's not always easy to trust in it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like, whoa, what are we doing? But it's where I know I need to be. And when I look at him doing his thing, I'm like, I know this is where he's supposed to be, because he's so good at it. And he absolutely is in his highest form, So I don't know. It's hard. Sometimes we have to like do the brave thing, and it kind of sucks, the work that goes into it and the fear and the late nights. But, it'll work out. Any message for me for 2026? MJ Phoenix. Let's see. Come on, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I was hoping I could like stand up most of the time here, but I'm kind of... What's that? The door just opened itself. It's the air pressure. I won't lie to you and say that there's a spirit opening the door. It was the air pressure. I'm gonna put this stuff on a box so I can stand. Okay, now. Are we good? All right. I know this is like so ghetto. This is like a Christmas present. What is that? What is going on? The wind. Okay. All right. We're just gonna do one more. Okay, so we have the Prince of Wands. We have the Chariot. This is for MJ. We have love. Love, love, love. Princess of Discs and the Ace of Discs. Okay. So this is a very real passion. And then we have our Valor. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I feel like it's somebody at work, somebody you work with. But it's not just, it's not a, and I want to see here. Prince of Discs. Yeah. It's not, this is not a, I have a crush on some person that I work with or whatever. They don't even know my name. This is like a sense of, it's like, it's a mutual, there's a mutual love here. It is not realized. It is not realized. I feel like we have the princess and prince of discs, right? So there's like this sense of like trying to get things adjusted in a way where maybe you can talk to each other or you can be alone, or I don't know what it is, but it feels like it's like almost like you're over, it's like you've over kneaded the dough, right? You've just really, you've tried so hard, so hard that when this thing kind of happens, it's already kind of feeling burnt out, if that makes sense. It's already feeling like, okay, I've had this kind of like love affair going on mostly in your head, which is where most of the love happens anyways, right? Um, and it feels so new and it's passionate, but there's just, I don't know, none of the cards make it seem like this is going to fail, but there's something underneath it. I feel like let's do the Oracle of the Radiant Sun here. Because I want to find what is going on that's making this hard or bad, or like a kind of not good experience. Idealism, principle, manipulation. Okay. So this is like a thing where it looks like it's almost kind of not like lying, but like this person's been oversold, like maybe by like you to yourself or them to you or both. The other part of it is that, and I don't know what your situation is, but this is something that's in conflict with your virtue or your beliefs, or I don't know, the standards that you hold yourself to. If, and I'm not saying, I don't think this is necessarily like a taboo or bad thing. I just feel like there's something in you that tells you like, this is not, there's something weird or off, or it's just, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't actually feel good, but like here I am still going after it. Why am I still going after it? It's not feeding my soul. In fact, it feels like this kind of like cloak and dagger thing, but at the same time, yeah, excitement. It's the excitement. It's the excitement. And listen, I say live out your best soap opera. I mean, don't get hurt. Don't have anybody get hurt or whatever. But do it if it feels good and it's like a little exciting and whatever. Go for it, But if not, if it makes you feel bad, then don't. If it really is, that much of a weight on your heart or mind or whatever, listen. There's so many things that we can have in place of romantic love these days. We live in a brave new world. You don't have to do all that if you don't want to. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna have to get going, you guys. Yeah, I'm starting to get into my my ADD have to move everywhere energy is coming up now. I can only sit for so long and like be still. Okay, let's see. Tracy, I'm glad I didn't pull the death card on you. I must have the other day. Hi, Kathy. Sending harmonic vibes. Thank you. Can you and Spirit bring through a message for me, please? Yeah, let's see if we can. For Kathy, and I'm going to get a drink over here real quick. Have my coffee. Me coffee. Okay. Kathy. Where are we, Kathy? So we have the Prince of Discs. The Ten of Wands. We're having a lot of the same guys coming up here. Princess of Discs again. The Fool. Ten of Discs. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like there was somebody in your life growing up. I'm guessing it feels like a grandmother, or no, not grandmother, grandfather. It feels like a older male role model, somebody that you respected or you were taught to respect. Maybe you didn't respect them in the way that, you know, we think of respect earned, right? I think it's kind of more of a situation where you were told, you know, you respect your elders, you don't talk to them like that, you know, this kind of thing. This is a very like earthy person. This is somebody who probably did some kind of manual labor, probably hadn't mastered it. Like they, you know, weren't like a master mason or something, or like like a master of, I don't know, like welding or something like this. But, and I don't, it's dirt though. Like a farmer, maybe a farmer, or I don't know, what is it? Like a miner? I don't know, or like something where they worked outside. Definitely, I feel like a lot of looking at the sky. This is a person who also had like some really strong beliefs, and this is where you kind of come into this. We have the Fool card, and I feel like a lot of your life within this dynamic, within that family in particular, if it was your mother or father's side, this family often made you feel like you were a fool. They often made you feel like you were incapable, that maybe your learning style didn't align with school. You're very intelligent, you're very capable, but like you didn't do well memorizing things, or you know, something like that. So you were made to feel often like you didn't know better to make your own choices, right? And so I feel like you kind of almost in a way adopted part of the freedom of being the Fool, because it was kind of like, well, if they already think I'm going to fail, then I'm going to do it, you know, magnificently, right? Like, so we have the Ten of Wands, and in this, I feel like being conditioned in this way, it limited you, but not really, right? What it brought up is almost this sense of defiance, right? Where when you're met with somebody who's like, yo, you can't do that, or you're, you didn't come from the right place or at the right time, you're too old, you're this, you're that, whatever. No, no, bro, I am the zero. I'm the fool. I am the, the outcast. I'm the one that they said would never do anything. And guess what? Guess what? It made me okay with being myself. It made me okay with being by myself. It made me realize that I don't need anybody to tell me who or what I am. And where did that lead you? It led you to everything. Now, I'm not just talking about money. I'm not talking about like, you might look around and say, like, I've made more money and done more than most of my family for generations, right? Yeah, that feels good, but that's not even what it is. You survived conditioning or, thought viruses that were passed through generations of people. And you stood up against it and said, no, dude, no, I'm going to have whatever I want and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it because I've already been disenfranchised. Baby, I was born disenfranchised, And so I feel like for you, the message here is you are seen. You are seen. And I feel like this grandfather energy makes sense. As we were talking about earlier, we are in, the land of Saturn right now. So we have that old grumpy grandpa energy hanging around. Here's the other thing about Saturn that people don't necessarily always talk about is that Saturn wasn't always the old father, right? He at one time was the king. And so during his reign, it was what we would call the golden era, right? This was, if you want to like align it with kind of like pseudo archaeology or whatever, this is like the time of Atlantis or the time of, one of the last great technological peaks of humanity. And everything was beautiful. Right? Everything was beautiful. And then as the seasons change, and they do, and also Saturn is time, so time goes on and it marches forward, and it leaves us by the side of the road often. He fell from power. He fell from power. And so during these dark, dark days, now I know some of you are in the Southern Hemisphere. Close your ears here. During these dark days and the long nights, yes, we're going to have a lot of that energy, that masculine, barely movable, stuck in their, kind of small-minded stuff. But we're soon going to escape it. And that's where we're at. We have a few more nights. And then the days get longer. And then what will we do? And then what's next? All right, you guys, I'm going to get myself going. I got to run out the door here in a few minutes. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Merlin, everybody. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'll be back tomorrow for sure. And who's coming out? Aquarius tea leaf reading will be out tomorrow. All right. Bye.